Hello, America. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. Hope you had a great weekend. The phone number 877-973-7425 should you wish to be on the program. Very happy to have you. We've got to begin with two separate stories with a common tie. The president just a short time ago signed an executive order making flag burning illegal in the country. He actually can't do that. But why is he doing it? The why is related to what happened at the Democratic National Committee's meeting in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they began this way.
Lindy Somek, who is from the Saginaw Ojibwe Nation, and she's going to deliver our land acknowledgement today. Lindy?
Just listen.
Bonjour, Lindy Somek, Indigenous Cause, Amik Saginaw Chippewa Dojaba, Anishinaabe Kwe, and Dow. Good morning, DNC members, friends, and relatives. Let's talk about the land for a second. The DNC acknowledges and honors the Dakota Oyate, the Dakota people, who are the original stewards of the lands and waters of Minneapolis. The Dakota cared for the lands, lakes, and the Wakatonka, the Great River, the Mississippi River, for thousands of years before colonization. This land was not claimed or traded. It's a part of a history of broken treaties and promises. And in many ways, we still live in a system built to suppress Indigenous peoples' cultural and spiritual history. As Democrats,
we acknowledge the land. Really, this is how the Democratic National Committee began its summer meeting, with a land acknowledgement of colonized, stolen land that was the property of a group of Indians who actually murdered other Indians who took it from them, who murdered other Indians who took it from them. But it's Whitey who's the bad guy. It's the Americans who are the bad guys. This is how the Democratic National Committee began its meeting, with a land acknowledgement. Talk about an 80-20 issue. People who do this sort of thing are weird people. They're not normal people. The Canadian progressives had King Charles do a land acknowledgement. That's kind of funny. This land was some Obituwa Indian tribe until I took it. And now it's mine, and you can't have it back. The Democrats would do this and talk about the suppression of indigenous peoples and things like that. It's all kind of dumb. It's an 80-20 issue. They found themselves on the side of the 20% issue, which gets me to the flag burning. It is, whether you like it or not, constitutional to burn the American flag. It's absolutely 100% constitutional. The case involves Texas versus Johnson, decided in 1989. It's a 5-4 case. And it was Antonin Scalia was involved in the majority. The dissent was Byron White, Sandra Day O'Connor, John Paul Stevens, and William Rehnquist. The majority was Brennan, Thurgood Marshall, Blackmun, Scalia, Kennedy. Y'all, I'm very sorry, but you can't go to jail for burning the flag in the United States. It's actually a matter of free speech in this country. You may not like it. You may not like it, but it's a matter of free speech in this country. You cannot go to prison for burning the flag. Now, here's the thing. Donald Trump knows this. The team around Donald Trump that authored this executive order knows this. What the president's trying to claim is that if you burn the flag, you're not going to be charged with burning the flag. You're going to be charged with incitement, because you'll have started a riot, because people will wish to defend the flag. You will start a riot. You can't do that. This is from the White House. He has signed the order. Notwithstanding the Supreme Court's ruling on First Amendment protections, the court has never held that American flag desecration conducted in a manner that is likely to incite imminent lawless action or that is an action amounting to fighting words is constitutionally protected. He's trying to steer around Texas versus Johnson. You can't do it. You can't do it. Now, I know some of you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I can assure you, as a lawyer who did constitutional law, you're not going to claim that somehow someone burning a flag is fighting words. You actually aren't going to be able to do that because, contrary to what his executive order says, the Supreme Court did not clearly rule that, but certainly in the concurring opinions, the fighting words comes up. And the incitement to riot, most of the people, when you're burning a flag, are standing around you celebrating you burning the flag. But that's the point here. Despite all the language that, well, the Supreme Court really hasn't taken this side of the issue, and it was 5-4, and maybe that's not actually the point. Everybody there, except maybe the president, and probably him too, knows it's unconstitutional. But what's going to happen? What's going to happen? A bunch of progressives are going to go out, do their land acknowledgement, and then set fire to the American flag. You're going to get Democrats on the side of flag burners. Nobody likes people burning the American flag. Antonin Scalia had a very famous line relating to the flag burning case, where he said if he could, he would. If it were up to me, I would put in jail every sandal-wearing, scruffy-bearded weirdo who burns the American flag. That's Antonin Scalia. If it were up to me, I would put in jail every sandal-wearing, scruffy-bearded weirdo who burns the American flag, but I am not king. Cannot do it. That was a speech at the Union League, an event moderated by Robert George at Princeton University. Said it is not constitutional. Scalia was the fifth and deciding vote in Texas versus Johnson upholding flag burning. A year later, he voted against a federal law that banned flag burning in U.S. versus Eichmann. Ronald Reagan saw a protester, Gregory Lee Johnson. He burned a flag outside City Hall in Dallas, Texas in 1984. A lot of people were upset by Johnson pouring lighter fluid on the flag and setting it on fire. Texas rounded him up, put him in jail, charged him a $2,000 fine. The case made its way up to the Supreme Court, and Scalia was the deciding vote. And Scalia ruled, in a decision authored by Justice Brennan, that burning the flag is constitutional. It's a matter of free speech. It may offend us, but many people say things and do things as a course of the First Amendment that offend us. But that's not what's happening here, because Donald Trump knows the Democrats are going to offend you now. The Democrats are going to start burning flags. I guarantee you we're going to start seeing a bunch of protesters out in the streets burning American flags to prove that they can. And they will play directly into Donald Trump's hands. And sometimes they can't help themselves. This flag, this land acknowledgement of the DNC, it's a weirdo thing to do. It is a weirdo thing to do, to have some lady come up and start speaking in American Indian dialects and languages and then translate it in English and say, we acknowledge we're on stolen land that was colonized by those awful Americans. You're an American. There's no reason for you to apologize. I think most Americans understand that contrary to the idealized vegan image of American Indians, they were actually pretty savage amongst themselves, killing each other. Here's the problem. I want to go to this clip from Harry Itten on CNN about the Democratic Party right now.
Look, the Democratic brand right now has about the appeal with the American voter as the Cracker Barrel rebrand has with the American consumers. Bad, bad, bad. What are you doing? Oh, my goodness gracious. What are we talking about here in terms of big party registration changes in the key swing states? Let's look at the key 4 swing states that, in fact, do keep track of registration by party. Look, the Republican Party is in their best position at this point in the cycle since at least 2005. In all 4 of these key battleground states, we go out to the Southwest, Arizona. How about Nevada? Republicans haven't done this well since 2005. Oh, my goodness gracious, at this point in the cycle. North Carolina, I couldn't find a point at which Republicans were doing better at this point in the cycle. It's at least this century. It probably goes way back in the last century. And Pennsylvania, very similar. Republicans doing better at this point than at any point. At any point this century, at least as far as I could find.
And now you're going to have Democrats with their land acknowledgments burning American flags. They're already in the streets in D.C. saying, bring back the murders. I mean, that's how far left they are. If Trump is for it, they're automatically against it. There are things that Trump is for that you should be against, like buying 10% of Intel and the sovereign wealth fund sort of Chinese state capitalism stuff. It's bad, but notice the Democrats are okay with that because they know that they'll be able to get back in charge at some point and control all this stuff. But these other things, it's just wild to see how they take the bait every time. Donald Trump gets the Democrats time and time again to take the bait. You know, it's starting to dawn on Democrats, and we'll get into this at the bottom of the hour. It's starting to dawn on Democrats that they fell into a trap on redistricting. Gavin Newsom couldn't help himself. He wanted to be the fighter. He wanted to show he could fight. He wanted to show he would fight. He took the bait. And now the Republicans are going to get a decade-long advantage because Gavin Newsom took the bait. On crime, the Democrats have taken the bait. They're literally out there saying, bring back the crime. There's an op-ed in the Washington Post. We'll get into it later. The guy he's a progressive. He lives in D.C. He's like, yeah, I acknowledge that crime is now better than it was, but what Donald Trump is doing is still wrong. Bring back the crime. There hasn't been a murder in Washington, D.C. in 12 days. That's unheard of in Washington, D.C., and the Democrats are upset about it. And you know what the spin is now? The children are going back to school, and they're going to see mean men in camouflage with guns. That's the complaint. The Washington Post, Politico, others are saying the children are going back to school, and they're going to see mean men with guns keeping them safe. They're going to feel scared. Really, this is where the Democrats are. So the president's executive order is unconstitutional. Now, all of you, I think, actually know it's unconstitutional. Even the people who are trying to defend it know it's unconstitutional. You can't do it. The Supreme Court has ruled. It was a 5-4 decision. There's no going back. Burning the flag is a matter of free speech. The idea that it is directly tied to incitement or fighting words is nonsensical. It's just a clever way around the Supreme Court, so they have some defense of it. There's really no defense of it. It actually is an unconstitutional order. It won't be enforced, but that's not the point. That's not the point. That was never the point. The point was knowing that it would encourage Democrats to go out and burn flags. The Democrats are going to go out and start burning flags. They'll do their land acknowledgments. They will burn the flags. They have been played yet again. I have always said that Donald Trump's superpower is getting Democrats to behave in ways they claim he behaves. Donald Trump gets Democrats to do the things they claim, not that he does it, but that they claim Donald Trump does. Democrats are as authoritarian as they claim Donald Trump is. But the thing that really is Donald Trump's genius is he knows how to provoke the Democrats into standing up for absurd things, whether it's defending illegal aliens, defending crime, or now defending flag burning. What he needs to do tomorrow is he needs to pass an executive order banning land acknowledgments. Ban the land acknowledgments, Mr. President, and watch the Democrats come out tomorrow and double down on stupid on land acknowledgments, and then write an executive order demanding that every day, every American be required, make it mandatory for every American to breathe. And watch what the Democrats